What's up, guys? Back with another video today. This one's going to be kind of a Q&A from a post I did on Instagram saying I was making another video. Got a couple questions, so I'm just going to go ahead and respond to them. Alright, first one's going to be from my buddy Luis. He's asking, how can I break through plateaus? Well, first, I'd like to go over what a plateau is. Most people think they're in a plateau when they're really just not progressing as fast as they would like to. A true plateau happens when your lifts are around the same weight, reps, and sets for probably about 3 weeks. At this point, I would highly recommend you look back at your training program, see if you maybe increased your training volume too quickly, simply meaning you tried to do too much too fast. Maybe go back and decrease some of the sets and reps for your lifts. Also do what's known as a deload week. This basically means, say you're training for 3 weeks consecutively. On the 4th week, instead of taking a rest week, you can simply decrease the amount that you're doing, whether it's by lowering the weight, lowering the sets, lowering the reps, and sort of train at around 50% of what you'd normally do for that whole week. And then on the 5th week, you jump back in fresh like you did weeks 1 through 3. Now, this doesn't have to be only after 3 weeks. You can do this really at any point. It depends on the person. But yeah, one strategy I would say is for sure a deload week. So besides the deload week, technique can also play a huge factor. If you aren't efficient at moving the weight and your form isn't spot on, this can hinder your progress, and if you try and train through it, it could actually lead to injury. So a huge variable I would look into is technique. Make sure your form is on point, make sure you're executing all of your lifts properly, and just don't rush it. Alright, let's move on to our next question. This is going to be from Adam. Shout out to you. He's basically asking, is cardio necessary for weight loss, or can you achieve a sustainable rate of fat loss through just caloric deficit? First off, let's start by addressing what a caloric deficit is. A caloric deficit is just when your caloric intake, meaning the daily amount of calories you're eating, is less than your maintenance. Your maintenance calories are just how many calories your body needs to maintain the weight that you're currently at. So if you want to lose weight, you'd have to eat less. It's just energy in versus energy out. Cardio is an effective tool to increase that caloric deficit, but that's all it is. It's just a tool. It's by no means necessary. If your weight loss stalls, there's obviously going to be a certain point in your diet when you don't want to decrease your calories too much. You know, if you're a male, for example, there gets to a certain point where you hit 2,000, maybe even 1,800 calories, and that's just far too low. So in order to increase that caloric deficit, instead of taking food calories away, what we can do is just increase our energy expenditure. Now this comes in the form of cardio. So is cardio necessary? No. But when you do get to a certain point in your diet when you can't really decrease food by that much because you're already eating a low number of calories, I would recommend throwing cardio in as a tool to increase that caloric deficit without actually having to eat less. Hope that helps. Our last question is going to come once again from Luis, and he's asking, what exercise or exercises can athletes do from any sport that will benefit them in the gym? This is a pretty loaded question. It obviously does have a lot to do with your specific sport and what you're training for. Different sports may require different styles of training. For me, this would have to be the deadlift. The deadlift teaches you how to properly hip hinge, and from the deadlift you can learn exercises such as power cleans, snatches, anything that involves loading the posterior chain, which is your hams and your glutes and your lower back, and learning to explosively fire from the ground like that. This is going to translate to a higher vertical, faster running, as well as improved flexibility and strength and mobility in certain positions. So number one exercise, probably a deadlift. Doesn't really matter what sport you're coming from, doesn't matter what you need to train. I would say learning how to properly and efficiently pull from the ground is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Alright guys, hope that helps. That's everything for today. Let me know if you have any questions. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, you could probably give it a like too, just because. And make sure to subscribe, comment, or email me if you have any more questions or you want to send a request for any type of video. I'd be happy to do that for you. Alright, talk to you guys later. You can follow me on my Instagram.